Welcome to another episode of the Hustle and Grind Podcast.
I am Monique. They call me Mo Hustle.
They call me the Grind Guy.
I be up early in the morning.
You wake up like, why?
I gotta do to get this money.
We are the non-traditional couple.
You okay?
The Hustle and the Grind.
The Hustle and Grind Podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Hustle and the Grind. My name is John. They call me the Grind Guy.
And my name is Monique. They call me Mo Hustle. And this podcast is exactly what the title is. It's all about the hustle and the grind. We talk about what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. We have people from various industries, and we're just talking about motivation, the mindset, how you have to be self-driven, and all the above.
And the adversity that you go through as an entrepreneur. Like, there's so many peaks and valleys throughout entrepreneurship. You know, it looks great, you know, on social media when the camera's on you. But what about those moments when you're at your lowest? And everybody that's an entrepreneur knows exactly what I'm talking about.
That's right.
We've all been there. We've all been there.
That's right. And today's guest, guys, we are so excited to have here.
Man.
When you talk about an infectious energy, risk taker, just an overall go-getter, just super positive and motivating, inspiring. But not only that, guys, hold on. John,
Hey,
who do we have?
The deal maker.
The deal maker.
In the building. The deal maker. So we ain't just talking about deals. We talking about deals, like commercial deals.
Hotels.
Y'all listening? Hotel. Black.
Female. Hotel owner.
Okay? So, I mean, we ain't gonna talk about the modern deals. We ain't talking about Exuma, the Bahamas. You know.
Oh, hold on, John. So in the Bahamas,
I'm throwing out some
it's
stuff.
a whole development. It's a micro villa development going on in Exuma, Bahamas right now. That's one thing. But most importantly, guys, like when it comes to this young lady as an individual, she has her own real estate mastery show. She's like the Oprah of real estate. No lie, I promise you. And a real estate book, real estate mastery book.
Yes. What you want to call her? What's the name you said?
The Deal Maker.
No, the Jopra.
Oh, no. We're not doing that because, nah.
Oh, okay. Monique had a joke, but you're not doing it. It's okay. But hey.
But anywho, guys, with no further ado, it's Jessica Myers. Hey. What's up, Jess?
Hey, how y'all feeling, man? I love
Feeling
the energy.
good.
I love the vibes. This is a beautiful setup. If you guys didn't know, like as far as placement of where we are, one of y'all's designs and developments.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. I mean, beautiful ambiance, great people, man. I'm excited to be here.
Hey, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you here, guys.
Yes.
Like it's I don't even know where to begin because it's so much that we have to cover. And you know, it's when we think about how far back we go, we've been knowing each other for years and years and years, and just even transitioning from corporate America
Yes.
Oh, man, I
to
remember that.
entrepreneurship. So
Yes.
tell everybody, like, what made you actually say, you know what, I'm about to just go ahead and just I'm about to transfer
Yeah.
from corporate America to entrepreneur.
First, I wanted to say, who is Jessica Myers?
Oh, my
before
bad.
we got there.
My bad.
I want the people to know who is Jessica Myers.
It's funny because when you say that, the first thing that comes to mind is bold, powerful, and courageous leader. And I know the want to is to jump to the accolades and the things that y'all mentioned, and I appreciate it and I'm grateful. But because it's who I be, it just feels like another project. It feels like this feels no different than chemistry lab class that we had in college.
Okay.
It's just the deals get bigger, but the framework is the same. It's who I get to be. It's like you said, in the midst of those valleys where you want to quit, and I've been in the bed where I don't want to wake up. And one of the things my husband always says is running from it will not save you. Running from it will not save you. And so with that, I wake up with the courage, the audacity, and I envision who I get to be today. So a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're problem solvers.
Absolutely.
So yes, I am a problem solver. And because I've been effective at solving a lot of problems, I've been able to do a lot of transactions and deals. And that's what you experience as, you know, being a part of an ownership group of a hotel or several hotels, building a resort in Exuma,
Hold
Bahamas.
on. Jess, stop it. You just said
Several.
hotels
Several.
with an S.
Yes.
Several.
Several.
Yes.
Like, that's a lot. Like, so how does, like, what does it take to get to that? Like, I know you the deal maker, but like, what does it take to get Yeah.
Well, honestly, I'm a firm believer of doing an autopsy on your success and even your failures to understand what worked, what didn't work, and then how you can get intentional about doing it again.
There you go.
Replicating your success.
Keyword intentional.
Yeah.
Intentional.
Yeah.
So let's kind of backtrack because now we're starting to talk about a lot of where you are right now. But let's backtrack. The word intentional. Let's go back to the question. Transferring, we're going to call it a transfer.
Yeah.
Right.
Transferring from corporate America to the entrepreneur lifestyle. How did you do it? What made you just do it?
Well, for one, being on a performance improvement plan will get you together. For one.
Facts, big facts, yes.
So that, and honestly, after receiving my 5-year plaque, I went to take a trip because I love to travel. And we were about to go on a cruise somewhere, I don't know. And my boss was like, well, you know you added days for this year, so you got to borrow time from next year.
Out of days.
You added days and you have to borrow. And I was like, borrow from who? Time?
Hold on. So you mean to tell me that I can't just go on vacation? Like if I tell you.
Well, I had
in
already
advance?
been on several vacations, and I had already used.
She used all of her time.
my time,
So you
sick
use all your
days,
time.
and everything. And I still wanted to go on a 2-week trip to Nigeria. I'm like, but something's got to give.
Yeah.
So no, that was actually to East Africa.
Okay.
But I was like, something's got to give. And when I realized I was borrowing time, I realized I no longer owned my time. And that gave me clarity that I'm like, I spent so much time climbing up this perceivable corporate ladder. And I was talking to my dad here again and set in the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Okay.
Stephen Covey mentions what happens if the ladder's on the wrong wall. And that's where I was like, something's got to give. But what were you saying?
No, so I was going to ask, so what was your professional background?
So actually, I was in media. I was in media sales. So I was working in television broadcasts.
Nice.
Of course. Y'all hear it in the voice? Because when Jessica talk, everybody just start listening. It is like Oprah. You're like, what? Oh, okay.
Yep. So let's talk about one thing that I think is key. I know that I often find myself applying what I learned in corporate America, just naturally applying it to my entrepreneurship lifestyle, right? Or, but how do you find yourself today with having a mastery talk show, right? And a book.
Okay, so I started to look at the framework of how corporate was laid out, right? And then I'm like, how can I structure my business the same way? Because there are certain things that I did in corporate when I listed out my titles that I'd still need to do in my business. Like just because I left corporate, when they have a corporate attorney, I still need to have access to an attorney as an entrepreneur.
Right.
When I understand that we're ending our fiscal year in July, well, I need to
your
get
fiscal
together
year,
what my
yes.
fiscal year need to be.
Exactly.
And get with my accountant. So
Right.
I started to see those transferable skills, the infrastructure of corporate America. So it's almost like you need to do a 10-year internship.
Wow.
Like, go find somewhere to get the internal infrastructure, and that's how you can apply that. And then understanding too. So I went from television to sales. Once I got into sales and I started working in out of home, or that's the billboards and all of that, that's when I started to understand about real estate. Because now when you're billboards, you're pricing different things, cost different things based on where they are in town. So I started learning the driving patterns, what people would charge in certain parts of the city. So I started to understand the psyche. And then we could take that. If you buy a billboard in Atlanta, I need to be able to talk to you about a billboard in Florida, in New York, in all of these different markets.
Right.
So we started to understand the infrastructure of what a real estate trust is. So a
Okay.
REIT. And so it's funny because I went from media sales, television sales, then went into out-of-home sales, and that's ultimately when I started to understand about real estate and conglomerates and being in different markets and how you can set up teams in different markets of where you go. So understanding that business, and also too, I'm in sales. So I'm creating business solutions for small business owners to grow their business. So that's just something I love to do naturally, yeah. Innately. And then now I get to do this opportunity and finding about real estate. It just made sense.
The cool part is that, we really haven't talked about this a lot on our previous episodes, but we're all real estate entrepreneurs. And the thing is that we all got our start in real estate, wholesaling real estate.
Yep.
So when you're talking about sales and things like that, I used to have to go and get new businesses when I was in corporate, right? I had to go and generate new leads. I had to establish relationships. I had to market to these people, maintain the relationships, and expand. So we find ourselves doing the same thing in this field of real estate.
But for yourself.
Absolutely.
And you own your time.
Say it again, Jess.
For yourself.
And I own what?
Your time.
Who do I have to ask for time off?
Nobody.
Oh.
Nobody.
And for sales, for me, my expertise is sales. I had to go and hustle for it. So it's the same thing, just a different product.
But that's what I mean by looking at the infrastructure. Don't judge the content of what it is,
Right.
whatever it is.
Right.
It don't matter whatever it is.
That's the cool
it's
part.
the framework.
Because the crazy part is people that do have a street background, if you can be very successful in the streets, you can kill it in business doing something legit for yourself.
Yep.
Because you have to have everything set up. Everything has to be in place. Like you have to have an operational plan.
Yep.
You have to know who your different team members are that you can delegate different tasks to, who you can go to this person for and that person for. So at the end of the day, it's all about how you take that transferable skill and apply it to what you do.
Exactly.
So let's get back to Jessica though. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, but I want to ask. I do want to ask a question because I do know the significant other. Right?
Yes.
So let's talk. Let's dive into that part because I know as entrepreneurs, when you're dealing with a spouse, someone on the other side, how is that? What type of support are you receiving from that spouse? Are there? I'm sure there's some moments where it's because I know the spouse. Of course, shout out to my man Joe. I know you, Joe. I know you watching. Let's talk about that. Talk about how that works because I know that he's also an entrepreneur. So let's talk about how that works.
In what regard? I mean, you talk about mountains, valleys. I mean, it's so funny because he often will ask me like, what is your definition of marriage or what do you think marriage is? And I always say partnership. And it's like, what does partnership mean? Well, partner means that if y'all ever played Donkey Kong? Yeah. I remember he need to tap in Diddy sometimes and like Diddy come in here and get through the small crevices. And then we're going to go back to tapping into Donkey Kong. That's to me what it means to partnership. I grew up loving that game. Mario, Luigi. I grew up, seeing those partnerships.
Yeah.
And Super Mario is coming back.
Absolutely.
Batman, Robin. Like,
right.
I love Marvel comics. So I always saw great partnerships. And I was like, no matter what game you're playing, we're playing to win. And knowing that I have someone invested in my best interest and he invests and I'm invested in his, it's like we help each other win. It's like, who does Serena go to practice tennis?
Right.
She needs somebody strong as her to bounce the ball. And that's the power of the partnership that I have.
That's what I wanted
in that when I was working corporate, he was working corporate, we supported each other's dreams and visions. While I went to go try my stint in real estate and mess up and fumble and everything else, he was like, I'll be the stability.
Yeah.
Then when it got to a point where the roles were reversed, I was able to help him and get to his entrepreneurial venture and business. It's like, okay, I learned a few things in business.
Right.
So how about we take a couple of things that I learned and mix it with your knowledge in software engineering and how do we turn this into a bigger venture? So it's like it goes back and forth of us supporting one another and building each other up with the skills we're learning. And I must say, he is a strong partner.
Shout out to Black Love.
Yeah. Oh, Black Love.
So
talk about that on some. What we call it? What we
Love
call
a
it?
Lifestyle. Sundays are for lovers.
Sundays are for lovers. Yes.
Sundays are for lovers.
That's super dope.
Yeah.
And let's even talk about that, when it comes to actually just taking time to really focus on the relationship. Like you say, Sundays is for lovers. So that's you guys' time. And you guys promote that.
Yes.
So talk about that.
Oh, yeah. So for one, about being intentional. So a lot of times people say, Jess, you're busy. And I'm like, no, I'm intentional. Like if there's something that I want to do and desire to do, and spending time with family and loved ones is something that I desire to do. So I designate Sundays because, as an entrepreneur, you can quit a 9 to 5 to work a 12 to 12.
Right.
So one more time. Say
You
for the
can
people in the
quit
back.
a 9 to 5 to work a 12 to 12.
365.
Exactly. So a lot of times there will always be work to do. If you don't unplug and be intentional about that space, it will always encroach upon it. And the next thing you know, the relationships that you're doing it out for are passing you by.
Balance.
Exactly. So we are intentional about Sundays are for lovers. It's funny because even though sometimes we'll just be chilling at the house, somebody will call and be like, I know Sundays are for lovers, but I was like, it's not, it's not that deep.
Right.
But,
but people respect it because they know that that's your thing.
You set the precedent.
Yeah.
Sundays is for lovers. They see you on social media.
Yeah.
And you're like, look, we ain't bothering them on Sunday.
Yeah.
Right.
But one thing I do want to point out that we do as well, we can talk about partnership, communication, and all of that. And one of the things I want to get clear on, and this is why I say who I be, Because all of these things, you are who you are in every situation you show up to. Some people like to think that who you show up to work is different from who you show up to at home, and it's different from where you show up to with your girls. Oh, I'm a different person. No. You show up the same everywhere you go. And so that's where I take the infrastructure of what we see in corporate. That's how I can apply it to entrepreneurship. But I can also apply it to my relationship. What does that look like? Every month at corporate, you had a team meeting.
Yep.
But in relationships, how often do you have a team meeting? Only when things are wrong and when things are good. Sometimes if you may have a good week, you may talk or you don't.
This is so dope. I love that you guys do this. Continue.
So we incorporated, and literally from December 12th, 2005, thankfully one of his frat brothers told him about it, every month, and it was our 12 talks. And now it's the 11 talks because that's when we got married, on the 11th. But we talk about what we liked about the last 30 days, what we did not like about the last 30 days, and what we can do differently to move forward. Those 3 things, I apply it to business. What worked in the last 30 days?
What
didn't work. I bring it to partnerships to create communication between the two. Because what happens when things go awry? There was a misstep in expectation somewhere. Because as a problem solver and solving a lot of problems, like I said, and you transfer the same thing to entrepreneurship.
Right.
When solving a lot of problems, you have to go to the delta and the change of the miscommunication. Where was the point where we were going fine? Because at some point I was excited to work with you. That's how I welcomed you in my space. But then something changed.
Right.
And a lot of times when you don't communicate where that change it lies, and for some people you may not know, and they probably just thinking if you do one more thing, but you don't know.
In the back of their head, you don't know because you're not communicating.
Right.
You don't know I was at one thing.
Yeah.
You don't know.
And they waiting for you to mess up.
John, what do I always say? Communication is everything.
Is everything.
I tell people all the time, I don't care what may have happened, how bad it may have been. Talk about it.
Yep.
Talk about it. Because if you know who you're dealing with, and you know and for one, if you know my heart is pure, I know your heart is pure, I know your heart is pure, there's no ill intent. So whatever happened, we can talk about it and we move on.
Exactly.
And we get the money.
Exactly. But how many relationships, how many business partnerships, how many problems and issues with vendors, everything happened because there was a change in expectations somewhere that did not get fulfilled.
That's right.
And if we would have talked about it at that moment, if there would have been an open space and an open dialogue where for this moment in this space, we're going to be as honest and authentic as possible.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to give you the space to do that, and I'll give you the same.
I think the end goal is alignment. So you need to communicate to stay aligned.
Yes.
So I think because you'll get off of the line, the end goal for everyone, which is longevity.
Right.
And you can't do that without the communication part. So.
And we talking about relationships right now, but this applies to entrepreneurship just the same. Because who you show up as in your relationship, right?
Excuse me.
Is the same way that you're going to show up in business. It's the same way that you're going to show up. Because a lot of times if you go somewhere and you're like, that's a problem here, it's a problem there, at some point you got to be like.
Right. Hello.
In the mirror, right.
Where do I come into play? But another thing, too, is that it's okay for people to grow apart. You know, because if I may want to go this way, you may want to go that way. And I can respect what you want to do. You should be able to respect what I want to do and still be like, you know what, I wish you the best sincerely and still be able to support one another.
But the only way you can do that is through what?
Growth.
And communication.
Communication.
Because if you don't talk about that, you'll never know that person won out.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? The person been won out, and you just not doing what you need to do to communicate. So there's no, y'all not, you got an agenda. You already got you 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So.
And that, you talk about trust. I'm like, I my worry ain't about the other hoes and the other people that you may see. That ain't my worry.
Right.
My worry is the trust that one day you feel like you can't be authentic with me. That one day you feel like you can't tell me, because I found that with a lot more of the things that I've been able to achieve, I found that I didn't realize people had a fear of telling me no. And so a lot of times they'll say yes to something that they really don't want to do, believe, or whatever. But it's just like, wait, you couldn't just be authentic. I'd much rather, I get you trying to say yes to impress me, but I'd much rather deal with somebody who'll tell me no.
Right.
I'd much rather deal with somebody who was honest about, like, hey, they didn't want to do it.
That's honest.
Okay. Cool.
So, Jess, I want to touch on one thing, because I think one of the biggest things that's just so awesome, as far as, you have many accomplishments, but one of the things that I think is most notable is being not just a hotel owner, but a hotel owner of multiple hotels, right? So you're a Black female multi-hotel owner. So how did that come about?
So when I talk about processes and systems, right, I came down and created what I call the Deal Maker formula. And when my Deal Maker formula, because I started to see a pattern, it was like, my girl, she was like, everything you do in the single family, you can do in the commercial side. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And when she said that, here again, transferable skills. What skills can you take from this arena and take it to this arena and still have success, if not even more exponential? And so when you start to see the process, you can then be intentional, and that's how you can replicate it over and over. So while on paper, yes, it is a Home 2 Suites by Hilton, it is a Staybridge and a Hampton Inn, but to me, it's just one deal,
Right.
next deal, next deal. And really you get to the point where you create opportunity. That's what are you going to do? What are you going to invest in? Because to me, a lot of my single family stuff has been harder to acquire than the commercial.
Wow.
So you want to look at opportunity, like where are you in getting your opportunity? And then what skill set and know-how do you have? And one thing you can know about what you know, you can also identify what you don't.
Right.
So if you want to go to Jamaica right now, you're going to go learn how to get your pilot license. Or you're going to know that you don't know how to fly a plane and go to Delta and go buy one, right?
Right.
So when you're building out your dream and your team, understand what skill sets you do bring to the table, but hire the rest. Stop going out trying to be the chief, the mayor,
There you go.
the broker, the agent, and the broker, and the builder, and the contractor, and what else can you be? The architect,
But let me ask you this. So when the opportunity presented itself, because you're coming from doing everything on the residential side. So when the hotel opportunity came about, was it like, what the hell am I doing? Or, because I know you were just like, okay, but what was the first thought?
To go back to the 3-part formula, it's the opportunity itself, the skill set, the know-how, and then the capital to execute. That is the 3rd part. So that's been a part. Here again, I do autopsies on my success and failures. So I looked and understood that the $15,000 house is the same thing of the opportunity that we came across. What we really did was we negotiated on the other side of the table. Like rather than talking to the owner, we go to look for, it's almost like you want to be on Jeopardy where your name is the solution. Who's asking the question? Who has the problem that you get to be the solution for? But that's what we learned as wholesalers.
Right.
How to find opportunity and be the solution for people with problems.
Problem solver.
So banks have problems too. And you get to the right bank, they got the right deal. And that's how you can go through and make that play. So you had the opportunity, which is finding someone that had a need for what you had. That's the opportunity. It doesn't matter. It could have been a bank. It could have been it was a hotel. Because we were in the business of real estate. And one thing my partner helped me to see too is that a lot of these brands are just franchises.
That's it.
They're owned by individual owners, and then you bring the flagship name. And I was like, wait, so you can talk to the banks and get the real estate, and you can buy into a hotel and have ownership? And you can do it in a way that's solving their problem. They just need to get it off the books, solving our problem that now we can expand our territory. And so they're like, wait, well, if you were able to do that over here, how about these over here? And then you start to see how money moves. So then my partner, Jack, he is like the financial guru.
Okay.
If you guys know,
I know Jack.
Know Jack, yeah. So we created a hedge fund together, and through our hedge fund, that's how we're able to, now build in other places. So now we're working on building a resort in Exuma, Bahamas.
Hold on. Did you just say hedge fund?
Yes.
So you also have a hedge fund?
Yeah, I'm a hedge fund manager. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Many hats.
But when you understand the business side of collaborative economics, it's just a fancier term. It's just understanding that there's a name for it.
But I think one of the key things that we recognize when you speak about your different ventures is that there are partners. So you're not doing this by yourself.
Oh no. If y'all think that this was a solo venture, and God bless the solopreneurs. But if you sit down, take the time, invest in yourself, and become so skilled that people will flock to you to partner for your specialty, because that's what I've been able to be a part of. But you know what? At first, when I was not aware of what I was doing, it's almost like Cyclops with no glasses. Like, remember, he was just cutting everything up. When he got accident, he was cutting everything. And it's just like, I learned to put the Professor X and put on the glasses, and now I can control. That's the power of intentionality. Where you asked about intentional. When you do things and you think it's just luck, or you do things and you think it's just whatever. But when you can dissect it, you can break down and analyze just like you can a basketball game. Basketball game has rules. You understand the structure, and you can take a dive into what happened. That's the same play that you can do in whatever you're doing, and that's how you pull out those transferable skills. That's how you pull out like, how can when I look at the framework of what I'm doing, and then that builds your journey to success. Like that in turn, because now you know, like, cool, this is the team. These are the players that I need. This is, who I need on my team, what skill sets I can plug in.
So, through these other team members, right? Because you have to be, being an entrepreneur, you have to be picky about the team members that you choose. Everybody's going to flock, right? When you're intentional and you're in your purpose. But you have to be intentional about the people that you surround yourself with, because everybody's going to come. This is what a part of it, because it's a glow about you. They're like, man, I just want to be around Jess. Well, this is what I do. What do you do? How can we work together? Because you hear that all the time. How can we work together?
Can I pick your brain?
Yeah, can I pick your brain? Can we go eat for lunch?
Can I come shadow you for a day?
So how did you get to that point? Like what type of, because everybody has a mentor. So let's talk about those mentors that you have. Because I know it's several.
YouTube University.
Oh, really?
YouTube University.
Really?
Honestly, but you mean as far as business infrastructure and things like that, I just get in rooms smarter than me.
Okay.
Like even when we first started out, a part of where we met was through a network. I was going to at least 4 networking events a week, and I think I saw y'all at most of them, if not all of them. We were all going to the same.
Were all there.
I think that's how we all started, because we were all going to the same networking events. Yeah.
We got clickers because we all were like-minded.
Yeah.
I felt like that's what the reason. Well, I think that's what the success came as well, because we saw the consistency in everybody's power within each other individually, and we were just like, man, let's just do this.
And we fueled off of. We were fueled up off of each other. Right. Like the phone calls that we used to make, and just, hey, where are you going to be at today? Right. I'm here. I'm there, and we were pulling up and we were figuring it out.
I remember
like
when
that's
y'all
the
pulled
beauty.
up on me not Buckhead. Pittsburgh, and we were putting up signs.
Yeah.
We were putting up signs.
Yes.
So
bandit signs.
Bandit signs. So it's like when you got the proof in the pudding. I mean, we were in the trenches together. Yeah. So it's like, keep your squares up out the circle. Like, you can tell the real from the fake. If you get have y'all had a contractor who tried to fake his experience?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
And try to talk like they did something, and then
real quickly the work was like, you this ain't what you do.
Exactly. But not even they get to the work. You can tell from their language that they don't even get to the point of the work.
That too.
You can tell from their language.
Matter of fact, I had to go through some plans with someone today and yesterday and the day before. And I'm thinking, like, why am I having to explain this to you if this is what you know how to do? Right?
Red flags, believe it. Don't.
Absolutely. And it's just like, I shouldn't even have to tell you to reference plans for something that's being built out.
Yeah.
Plans, you have them in your email.
Yeah. When they start to tell you, that's like them I heard somebody, they were trying to talk in business, and I get it. Everybody's gonna mess up, but they kept saying IEN number, and I was like, oh my God. It felt
IEN.
Like scratching. I was so bad as EIN, but he was just so, I know what I'm talking about, IEN. I was like, I will not listen to a thing you say.
Yeah. let me know your credit, your business credit situation in about 5 years.
Right.
But IEN number.
But it's just like, when people speak, you can hear their limitations.
Absolutely.
And when they speak their limitations, keep the squares about your circle.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
only but so long you're gonna be in my presence that I will know the real from the fake.
And the longer you're in business as an entrepreneur, the easier it is to see it, because now you see it coming. You're like,
because y'all remember when we had exactly. I wish I would have seen that coming from a mile away. My girlfriend was like, that slick back hair, them cowboy boots, you knew something was up.
Yes.
I wish I would have known. Yep. I would have been that perceptive. But that's the only thing I will say about being out of corporate. At least corporate, there's a veil where they vet the people. When we're out here, like you said, the hustle and the grind.
We learn and we learn along the way.
We learning with each relationship. Like, can I trust them? I don't know. Like, you gotta have the faith, but don't get so scared that you don't take action.
Right.
Because there are some people that live in the fear. No, you just have an attorney on your team that can write up a contract.
Boom.
Your contract is gonna be the thing. They give you a contract at McDonald's when you go through the menu.
Yep.
I go through the line. Yep. They hand you a contract. Like, there used to be the case where if you didn't get a receipt, your food was free.
Absolutely.
Because you didn't have a contract.
Yep.
Right.
I ain't have a contract. So have a contract in entrepreneurial world. That's the thing that's going to protect you.
Contracts.
Yes, contracts. And make sure I had somebody who got me so tight up in a contract. I was like, I need to take all this language.
Right.
All the
'Cause,
language that they put.
that verbiage
Yeah.
is serious. That
Yes.
that black and white. You
Yes.
know, a lot of people just like, oh, okay, it's a contract, and they sign. You just signed your life away.
Exactly. And
You
that's
can't
all
get
you
out
have.
of it, and you can't get out of this
But
contract.
you know what? When we run into those situations where we get burnt or come across somebody that's not who they say they are, it's like your antennas are automatically always up.
Exactly.
So you're always on alert. You're paying attention to all these things now when you come across people. So the next time you come across someone and they start even talking that same language, you already know, like, I don't have time for it.
It's crazy because what you're talking about earlier today, someone said something and it was a valid point. They said, you don't get screwed over or burnt. It's you, the individual, that you didn't catch it. It's your fault because you're the entrepreneur. You should study and know the individuals that you're doing business with. So if you got this guy that's doing framework and he's not a real framer, licensed,
Absolutely.
and got his paperwork together, then
didn't do your
you already
homework.
know you didn't do your homework.
And if it was a cheaper price, then that was the
Yeah,
price
that's
you
not
paid.
always it.
Right.
Yeah.
Red
there you
flag,
go.
super red flag.
So
But now,
gosh.
you know what's awesome though? It's just like, I'm so proud of you, Jess.
man, what?
Thank you.
And it's just, when we look at where we are today from when we started and not knowing that this is where we would end up
Yeah.
being today.
I know.
All of us, and even,
All of us.
John, you were in the business long before us, but you were able to even just see us come in and figure this thing out. And as entrepreneurs, I think that's the beauty of entrepreneurship is
Yeah.
figuring it out.
Yep.
And even when we come across those people or have those bad situations, they're really not bad. They're lessons that we're learning that make us tougher,
Yeah.
more aware, and make us stronger for doing what we do.
Yeah, definitely. Because you were asking about the mentors. My mentors aren't perfect, but there are people that I learned from. In the field here in Atlanta.
We all have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
There's some individuals that we all have learned from.
yeah.
But
I like Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, Tony Robbins. Those are the mentors that have my heart. That really, when I talk about who you be, and you experience me being this through real estate, and that's how I have the achievements that I have in real estate. But this is who I be in every area that I show up in life.
Dope.
And it attributes to a lot of the study that I do with Lisa Nichols, Tony Robbins, and Les Brown.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
hey, well, listen. Jess, this was amazing. Like, proud of you is an understatement. Like, where you're going is we can, like, how some people and you're like, man, I see it. It's like, it's clear. Like, your tunnel vision.
Oprah, real estate Oprah.
Real estate Oprah.
I'm gonna take that.
and not
Oprah.
even just as the from the talk show perspective, but just all the things that you're doing,
Right.
like owning hotels, writing books, building in the Bahamas. Like, you're just like the sky is the limit, and we don't even say the sky is the limit because
Yeah.
it's just a view.
Right.
But it's no limit to what you're going to continue to do.
Yeah.
So and that motivates and inspires me.
It's just keep skilling
Us.
up. Keep skilling up. Keep
Yeah.
skilling up no matter what. Like, I stay in constant learning. You can often find me if I'm not on the phone talking to somebody trying to get a deal done. You can often find me skilling up to scale up.
Skilling up to scale up. I like
Scaling
that.
up to scale up.
I like that.
So let me say something, Jess. If you see that on the shirt, because y'all know
John is the slogan hacker.
If you see it on the shirt,
It's coming.
it's coming.
Just send the check.
Yeah, no problem. I had no problem.
check.
Everybody
I need
eats.
the address.
Everybody eats.
Exactly.
So hey.
So
Send
check
the
this
check.
out. So Jess, check this out. So this is a part of our episode
Yes.
where we ask you a question. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question. John's going to ask you a question. So this is the hustle and the grind. So I'm Mo Hustle. So when it comes to the hustle, what does the hustle mean to you?
Hustle means by any means I get it.
That's right.
It's short and sweet. It's
By any means I get it.
okay.
Period.
So what about what does a grind mean to you? Because the hustle and grind is going to be a little different.
Grind is when you got to knead into it a little bit more. It's almost like the batch of pancakes. You got to keep stirring. You got to grind in there. Put your foots in it.
Yeah.
That's where you got to put your foots in it. That's where something that doesn't go according to plan, you got to now pivot. It's almost like playing football. Like the quarterback, if he don't see it straight, he got to quickly find another way.
Right.
And you ain't got time to wait.
Yeah, you don't got too much time back there.
So grind means you got to take that and go.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Well, hey,
Well,
Jessica,
Jessica, no, you
it was great having you on this show. I'm sure you'll be coming back because we got some more stuff going on.
Yeah.
And we were just excited.
So Jess, where can people find you?
You can find me on all major platforms at It's Jessica Myers, itsjessicamyers.com. Or you can follow me like LinkedIn, Instagram, what am I on? What's that thing? TikTok, Facebook. It's Jessica Myers. Yeah, TikTok. It's jessicamyers.com. That's the best way to find me.
And Jess, you have this closeout saying that every time you end something, it gets the crowd going. So if you guys see any of her events, speaking engagements, the whole crowd is chanting this chant.
Well, I've actually had the pleasure of doing this on several continents now. And literally, I'm going to amalgamate like doing this all across the globe.
Okay.
Like having people from, I had kids in Nairobi, had people in Jamaica, Dubai. And when we were in Exuma, like I had people, and we heading to Europe. I'm going to get people out there in Europe. You got it. Let's go.
Okay.
So I love, even in Bali, we had people singing in Bali.
Right.
So it's like bringing together people all across the globe.
Yeah.
Because why? We're all going through the same struggle. We're all going through moments like we started out, what you said in entrepreneurship, where we can't get up some days, where we got to reconnect to our why, where we got to remind ourselves that we have to slow down in who we're doing this for. So when we have those moments that we can't get up and we feel like it ain't worth doing it today, I'll say, you got it.
Let's get it.
Let's go.